Hey, what's up everybody, and this is Joey Bags. So, this video was a little impromptu. I just finished watching, I believe it's Kireth's video that he just posted earlier today about his interview with the CEO of Fanatec. And yeah, I saw it, and I think some of the questions were great. The answers, some made sense, some were okay, understandable. A few I yelled at my TV and like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I want to keep this as PG as I possibly can. So shout out to Kireth. He has a really great channel. I'll link it in the description. Yeah, I saw the video. The video wasn't bad. I know everybody, well, not everybody. There's a few people that like to comment constantly, why continue on with Fanatec? Why? Because companies need to be held to task for their mistakes. Just like ourselves, we hold depending on the type of person you are, you hold yourself to task when you do make a mistake. You may have friends and family that will hold you to task when you make mistakes, or you're not at the level of where you normally should operate at. I feel a company, especially the CEO of a company, that's something that they should do as well. In this case, we have all the past issues that Fanatec has with, their ordering processes, their in-stocks, how they handle certain things. And they have the reputation that they have when it comes to customer service for a reason. They have the reputation that they have when it comes to products also for that reason. And as listening to this interview where, CEO has been in this for 27 years or so. So we're talking about the late 90s, to now, and to grow the company from where it was to where it is now. Outstanding job, great that you're doing it. But in that time, there have been issues that have come up. And instead of setting your company up for success, you've done that. I'm not going to take that away from you. You have. But in that time, other things have come to pass. And this past year is something that has really come to a head for quite a few people, especially loyal customers. We're going to start off with one of the first questions was dealing with the Black Friday debacle. And the CEO went into mention how they were having issues with their system and how it wasn't keeping proper track of what they were selling to what they had in stock. And there was an issue with that. Okay, that's fine. I can understand this. Black Friday is, or the holidays, we'll just lump this together as the holiday season is a very heavy shopping season for a lot of people in a lot of different countries. Different countries, different traditions, different holidays. Usually a lot of gift giving happening, especially around this time of year. It also isn't the first Black Friday that they've done. So knowing this, part of your team's, job would be looking at what business has been in the past to kind of forecast what your future is. So that way you can make plans, especially when it comes plans to expansion, which they've gone ahead at great lengths and, mentioned that, they're growing as a company, which is great. They're, they're building a new headquarters. That's great. So you're taking that into account, your growth and your sales, to expand and grow in the future. At the same time, you would take that same information to kind of forecast what you may need, especially coming into a holiday season. fine. Your system not holding up to it, okay. I can see where you might be blindsided by that or not an expectation. Okay. The issue is that we still have people that haven't gotten their Black Friday orders. This is the end of January, the beginning of February. We're talking about the end of November. The biggest issue that everyone had was the lack of communication from Fanatec. I think, and I've said this before and I've said this in other videos, 90% of the community, 90% of your customer base could have forgiven all of this had the communication had been handled properly and in a timely manner. My order was 22 days in limbo. I placed my order. I received confirmation that my order was placed and you were paid for it. From that moment, I think that was the 27th of November, till 22 days later, I had no info whatsoever, not as much as an email from Fanatec/Endor. My email to let me know that I actually had anything coming to me was from FedEx, because being in the States, they use FedEx as their shipping partner in the States from their warehouse in California. I set myself an account on FedEx to send me a message if anything pops up in their system that's to be sent to me, as many others have. Now, do you really think that a person should wait 22 days? No, they shouldn't. If I waited 7 days with an email, I would have been okay. If I waited 14 days and I was emailed every couple of days to let me know, hey, we're still having issues, I would have been okay. 90% of the community would have been fine with that. And going by comments on, my older Fanatec videos, that seems to be the consensus. You have the few Fanatec fanboys that, will say, oh, Fanatec's great, blah, blah, blah. You've got also the high and mighty, oh, it's this first world problems, You can't see the finger that I'm sticking up off camera. You've got those people that, huff their own farts, like South Park likes to say. You know what? Get out my comment section with that noise. I don't care about what you have to say. What I care, to hear from are the regular guys like me, who may not have a ton of money, like me, who spent quite a bit of money to order something to then have no word on what's happening with it. And that was actually quite a few people. Going by a lot of the comments and a few of the videos, that seemed to kind of be the consensus there. Now, they wanted to say that they understood this and, they're sorry, and great, we accept your apology. But as soon as you noticed there was a problem, the first thing should have been to start mass emailing your customers to let them know, hey, we have a problem. Our system is messed up. Our system is overselling to what we have in stock. So there's going to be an issue. That email should have been going out within the first week. I will give you 7 days to then realize, oh, damn, we have a problem. That's fine. But those emails should have started rolling out, not sporadic to maybe one or two people. It also shouldn't have been a post. Well, you know what? Also, and a post on your Fanatec forums that not everybody is going to be a part of. I was not a part of the Fanatec forums. So my third-party area was Reddit, the Fanatec subreddit. And that's where, some people are like, oh, I just got this email from Fanatec. Oh, I look in my email, in my inbox, not a damn thing. So me forming my thoughts on the company and, my stance on the company of never buying another Fanatec product was formed from that experience. And I will hold to that experience. And you know what? No one else has to do that. That's just strictly for me. And I'm not going to say the Fanatec products are bad. I have plenty of their products right here. Not that it's, you know, a bad product. I mean, it's a little plasticky, but I can understand for the price. And, these buttons are great. But I'm purposely not going to spend any more money of my own money. I'll buy it secondhand. And anybody that, you want to come into the comment section, just don't bother. I'm going to read it and ignore you, really. If you come with a coherent, logical, argument, I'll read it. I may answer it. If you just want to come in with a higher than, high and mighty comment, I'm going to read it, laugh, and ignore you. So I'm not saying that the product is bad. What I'm saying is the customer service and the way it was handled was poor. And there's thousands of people that have this same thought. And I have hundreds of people that have commented between the videos that I've done. And the proof is in the pudding there. So them taking the time to not acknowledge that they made a mistake and they should have done it sooner, that's kind of a red flag for me. But, whatever. That's how you want to handle it. That's how you want to handle it. What I wasn't a fan of was the fact that email, which I will... I'll show it. I'll try to post it here if I can. The email that they sent out that essentially blamed the consumer for not acting in good faith when they had a glitch in their system. They had a glitch in their system when it came to, I believe, the Formula 2.5X wheel and some button module or something where it took an additional discount off, which most people didn't know. If you put things in your cart and it discounts it, what are you gonna like? Oh, okay, that's by design. I'm not going to assume that that's a bug or that I'm exploiting, your system. But for you to send out emails, and this is when you sent out an email. You didn't send out an email about, being late or having issues with your system. No, you send out an email because you want to say that people are exploiting your system and acting in bad faith. Come on, that's bull. That's bull. Why that wasn't addressed, to literally blame your consumers for acting in bad faith because your system had a glitch? Nah, that should have been addressed. That actually, if anything, that really pisses me off. But whatever. I've already said what I'm going to say. That was part of it. They then go on to talk about the DD Plus and some issues where, it can be approved by, because the big deal is that Sony hasn't approved the chip that they're using in the base yet. Fine. Kind of doubling down on the fact that how they handled it was a good way to handle it, and that they used past experiences with the GTDD Pro when, they didn't announce it at the same time as they did the CSLDD, and then people were upset because, hey, if I would have known this, the GTDD Pro was coming out, I wouldn't have bought a CSLDD. Well, you could have handled it by saying, hey, we have these two new products, which which we're going to launch. We're still pending approval on this PlayStation compatible version, and we're pending approval from Sony. But this one, which is Xbox and PC ready, we're going to have on this date, and this is when it's going to start shipping out. This one is pending this time, and understand that this date may not reflect what it actually is. What they really should have done is not taken pre-order money for that DD Plus. Now, in the interview, he's saying where, their system, they couldn't have done that. And, just think you paid ahead of time, because I think some people were trying to say it's kind of scammy how you're charging up front, but you're not delivering, which you can say is a little bit scammy. I'm not going to go that far to say it's scammy. Company's way too big to try to run a scam like that. What I am going to say is that it is a poorly handled way of doing something or handling a pre-order on something that you don't have approval. You don't have the full green light. You don't have the 100%. So without having that 100%, you don't have a hard date of when it's going to ship. You can't take money, or you shouldn't take money, if you don't have a hard date of when it should go out or when it's going to go out. You've got somebody that, maybe scraped together that $1,000 and, or they scraped together that 1,000, they set up their whole rig, which Kireth actually made a good point about this. People, bought thousands of dollars in equipment to set up an entire rig around this one thing. And now they've got the entire rig going, ready to go, but they're missing the one vital component that they can't use. That's rather anti-consumer, Fanatec. So, in saying that you couldn't do it, I don't think that is a good excuse, and that is an excuse. I think there's plenty of companies that handle. I think Turtle Beach is with their new Velocity 1. Well, you know what? They didn't have to wait for Sony, so you know what? Maybe I won't use that example. But there are plenty of other companies that will announce something, maybe do a pre-order, and it's an email list. If you don't have a hard date, you really shouldn't take money. If you don't have a hard date, yes, some people want to be first in line, but that's really probably a small subsection of people that have that disposable income to just drop and be like, it'll come to me when it comes to me. So you really should have thought about this in a different manner, especially when you're dealing with another company who you are completely reliant upon in order to launch this product. I just think that was handled poorly, and other ways should have been thought up of. Now, he did say in the interview that he actually said he wouldn't have changed anything, which I think is total BS, and rather arrogant to say. But whatever. He did say one thing that he maybe would have changed is added a bigger buffer, in release days or something like that, which you should have done. I really shouldn't have had a date. It should have just been around this time, because if you give people on around this time and they still want to put their money down, then it's like, bro, they kind of told you around this time. You set kind of a hard date, people are going to kind of expect that hard date, especially if they gave you a K. If they gave you $1,000 for something and you had a date, that's kind of what they're expecting. So how they handled that was poorly. How he kind of, the arrogant answer of, in hindsight would have changed anything of how they handled this pre-order, didn't rub me the right way, but whatever. No, that's how he wants to answer. That's how he wants to answer. Then they did talk about the time in which it takes for customer service requests and, emails where, if you look at if now I'm part of the forum and the subreddit and other areas, other different forums that involve sim racing, and people talk about Fanatec, when you send an email off and it takes you 7 days before you get an email back, which is kind of poor. And I think that's something that's kind of been an issue with Fanatec for some time, and they're trying to address this by partnering with another logistics company to start handling that, so then that way they can expand their customer service, which is something honestly they should have done from the beginning. Customer service is something that you really should be pouring some money into. Why? Because that's your first contact point with your customers, other than your website of where they're ordering from. So if you have people emailing you questions, you should have customer support that can answer quickly. If you have people that are emailing you, sending you issues that they're having, you should be addressing those quickly. I can understand that the company is in Germany. Everything is in Germany, and let's say me here, I'm in the States. Right now it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Maybe the time is overlapping. I don't know if it's just early morning there. Maybe my email would get to somebody at this time. You've got time zones and things. I can understand that. But if you're doing customer service, if you're doing e-commerce, commerce in different countries, these are things you should have taken into account, where you're gonna have people from different time zones getting at you. So you should have people or a system in place to handle these things. And you want to say you're a small family company, but you're really not that small at 180, employees. especially customer service, that should be, that should really be top priority. So they're partnering with, as he said, they're partnering with a company. That's great. That's a step in the right direction. He had mentioned something about, customer service in different locations around the world, US, Asia. Great. That's great moving forward for customers that have issues, in hopes that they'll be able to answer, basic questions, or even take, issues and questions in and have a 24-hour turnaround. That would be amazing. We'll see that. Things like, hey, where's my item? Where's it shipped? He even mentioned something about in the future having, AI bots on their page to go ahead and answer things like that, which is great because there's plenty of companies that already do that. I order items for my wife all the time, and I deal with companies that are much higher end than Fanatec is, and I can get a customer service agent, and they've got my, answers right away. I mean, hell, I know Amazon is a huge company, but big thing is customer service, and they're able to help you fast. Yes, Amazon compared to Fanatec, you can't even compare them. But still, if you're going to partner with a company, do it ASAP, please. Your customers are calling for it. Other than that, I think the interview wasn't bad. I'm glad that it's finally happening. This is something that should have happened already. This is something that should have happened in December. It should have been fresh off the Black Friday debacle. It's nice that the big sim YouTubers are finally addressing this. I mean, I'm a tiny little, a nobody of a YouTuber that has made already a bunch of videos on this, and I can tell by the amount of hits that I'm getting on those videos and the amount of comments that I'm getting that it's not something that you're finding a lot of information on, and something that not a lot of people are addressing. It was nice that Will from Boosted Media, he posted up a post on their YouTube page that I think they're going to have a conference call or something with Fanatec, and these are things that they're going to address. Great. Finally. Kireth doing this. He has no affiliation with Fanatec, and he went ahead. He flew out to Germany, to do this interview. That's great. It's nice that some of the bigger names that have a larger audience with a louder voice than me can make these videos. But when the little guys like me are making these videos, there's kind of a problem. And it's not for clickbait, and it's not for clicks. It's a general. There's people that are having problems, that still have problems. They're not being addressed, and people are not addressing them. And I don't know if they're not addressing them. Why? Because they don't want to be associated with it, or they do have some kind of association or affiliation with them, and they're worried about upsetting a partner. I don't care. If Fanatec never wants to work with me, I don't care, really. I don't. Would I love to? Of course. I don't want to shell out my own money for stuff. Would I love them to send me stuff to try out and tell you how great it is or how bad it is? Of course. But everything that I have is self-funded. And that's why I have absolutely zero problems voicing my opinion, because I am self-funded. The only items that I've ever gotten from a company was the C5 wheel from Camus and the A7 shifter from PXN. Those are the only two items I've ever gotten from a company, for review. And I've given my honest opinion. I don't care if they sent it to me or not. Everything else, my Moza setup, I paid for. My Fanatec setup, I paid for. My PXN setup, I paid for. My Next Level Racing Challenger rig, I paid for. Everything that I have here, everything that I've reported on, I'm fully self-funded. So I have, my skin in the game is being the consumers, being just like you guys, as being someone who's put their hard-earned money on the line and then left in the wind to kind of figure it out, or just wait, or, to have people come up and say, oh, this first world problems, blah, blah, blah. Once again, there's a finger that's up in the air here that I'm not going to post. You're not going to see on video, but it's there. I don't care. So I'm glad that it's at least being addressed. But after seeing that, there were some things that I just couldn't. I'm like yelling at my TV, like, what? No, address this and address this, which are the two things I've already addressed early in the video. For the most part, I think it's a step in the right direction. It sucks that their shares went down 36%, but hey, that's the nature of what happens when you're not delivering. It sucks. It sucks to suck. Alright guys, well, this is it. I just wanted to give you this kind of impromptu video. Once again, everybody, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Smash the like button. Smash that thumbs up. Smash the subscribe. Smash the subscribe. And I will catch y'all all on the next video. Peace.